Hello everyone, today we are breaking down Season 1 Episode 5 Judgment Day of the 3 Body Problem. But before that, remember to like the video, helps out the channel a lot, and subscribe, and yada yada yada, let's get to it. The first thing we see is Wade recruiting Jin's boyfriend Raj for a secret mission to do with Judgment Day, the boat that Mike Evans and his cult live on. We're now with Clarence, and he's interrogating Yao Wenxia, who was captured last episode. Clarence is trying to get info on the San-Ti, and see what Wenxia knows or is willing to share. Wenxia says that humanity is no longer capable of solving its own problems, which is why she told the San-Ti to come here. We're now with Jin and Augie. They are in a safe house surrounded by guards. Last episode, Jin led Clarence to the summit where the San-Ti cult were meeting. Her life could be in danger because of this, which is the reason for the safe house. Augie and Jin are recalling the events that have transpired in the last couple of weeks. They kind of feel used, like puppets. They have known Wenxia for years, and she seems to be behind, or at least part, of all the things that have been happening. The flickering stars, Jack's death, the game, etc. We're back with Clarence and Wenxia. Clarence is curious why Wenxia is being so open with him. She has told him a lot of info. Wenxia says that the Lord allowed them to capture her, which means she is no longer valuable to the San-Ti, which means what she knows about them is no threat. We also get confirmation that Vera's father is Mike Evans. However, Wenxia decided to hide the truth from her daughter. At the end of the last episode, we saw Wenxia and Evans hooking up, so I was pretty sure about this, but now it's confirmed. Wenxia says the reason why she never told Vera that Evans was her father was because she didn't think Vera was strong enough. The exact dialogue. I don't know what this means, I don't get it. Vera wouldn't be able to handle the San-Ti? Is that what Wenxia means here? We then find out that the VR headset was never Vera's to begin with. That Wenxia lied to Jin about it. She wanted to recruit her to the organization. Wenxia says that Jin is one of the most capable physicists of her generation, so of course they would want her. Wenxia also confirms that Evans is communicating with the San-Ti on the ship, Judgment Day. We are now with Clarence and Wade. They are discussing what they learned from Wenxia. Both believe she is not hiding anything. Clarence believes that Evans has kept a record of all the talks he has had with the San-Ti. Wade wants these records. He says they need to find out everything they can about the San-Ti so they can come up with a plan to defend the Earth when they get here in 400 years. They assume that the record is on Judgment Day and is most likely on a hard drive of some sort. Now, obviously, the people on Judgment Day aren't just going to hand it over. The San-Ti followers will most likely try and destroy it if Wade sends a task force to try and retrieve it. They don't want this information getting out because it could help humanity defend itself from the San-Ti. Wade and Clarence brainstorm ideas on how to retrieve it. Clarence mentions how Judgment Day has booked a slot at the Panama Canal Authority next month. He believes this is the best place to strike. It is very narrow and the ship really can't do anything but go forward. So it is a good place for them to set up a trap. We are on Judgment Day and it seems people are a bit worried after the summit raid and Yao Wenxia's capture. They assume that the San-Ti were watching over them, protecting them. Evans spins this as it was all part of the Lord's plan, that the San-Ti wanted this to happen. So Evans still hasn't told anybody about how the San-Ti have cut off communications with them, which is the real reason why the raid even happened. We then see Evans try communicating with the San-Ti, begging for a response, but no answer. We're with Clarence and he goes to visit Augie and Jin. He wants Augie to resume her work on the nanofibers. Clarence wants to use them in his plan to retrieve the hard drive from Judgment Day. Augie is reluctant to do so because she doesn't want to see the countdown again, but she also wants justice for Jack, so she decides to start her work up again. They go to the Nanotech Research Center. They have a bunch of armed men surrounding the building in case somebody tries to attack them. Augie sits down at her computer and turns the project back on. Augie is expecting to see a countdown, but to her surprise, nothing. Just her normal vision. The San-Ti aren't protecting their human followers anymore, so they have no reason to mess with Augie anymore. We're back with Wade and Raj. They are talking to a group of engineers. They will be helping with the plan to retrieve the hard drive off Judgment Day. We're now with Will. He seems to be smoking some weed and staring out at the ocean. Saul and a stranger come to greet him. The man is a solicitor to the estate of Jack Rooney. Jack has left Will half of his estate, which is about £20 million. So yeah, quite a lot of money. Jack was running a snack empire, so he was quite rich. Will asks if Saul wants the money. Will has pancreatic cancer and doesn't have much time left. Saul tells him Jack would have wanted him to use the money to find the best treatments out there and to at least try and fight this. But Will doesn't want to deal with all the needles, the drugs, and the chemo. He says he is too far gone, and he just wants to have a few good weeks before it gets rough. We are now in the Panama Canal, where Judgment Day is going to be going through. Raj and the engineers are laying their trap for the ship. Augie is here instructing the engineers on how to use the nanofibers. Augie asks Wade how many people are on board. Wade says he doesn't know, which is kind of a lie. Wade views these people as traitors to the human race. They can all die for all he cares. So whatever they have planned, they mean to kill everyone on board. Wade says that there is a pilot on the ship who is presumed innocent. But one life versus info that could save the human race, that guy has to die. Augie doesn't seem thrilled about this notion. Augie and Raj are having a beer together, and Augie asks him how many people are on the ship. Raj says he doesn't know either. Augie starts poking holes in the plan, that the nanofibers could break or the supports may not hold. Raj is confident though that the plan will work. Augie doesn't want blood on her hands. She knows there are a lot of people on the ship even if no one is telling her that. And she thinks they don't deserve to die. It is the next morning and they are monitoring the canal. Wade gives the go-ahead. 2 supports come from beneath the water. Nanofibers are connected between the 2. So you may recall from episode 2, they used the same method to cut diamonds on a smaller scale. And the cuts were perfect. This nanofiber is thinner than hair and 1,000 times stronger than steel. So the plan is for the ship to pass through, and because of the momentum of the ship, the nanofibers will slice it apart, killing everyone on board and completely destroying the ship. Right before the ship goes through it, we see a bunch of kids in school eating and whatnot. You know, they really want to add some weight to this. The ship goes through the supports, and initially they believe it was a failure, but Augie says it is working, and we see people get sliced limb from limb, and everyone on the ship dies a gruesome death. Augie watches in horror, and Wade and Raj watch with no emotion. Evans tries running from this invisible force cutting everything, but breaks his ankle in the process. He has the hard drive with him. He faces his doom and begins to pray. He accepts his fate and dies. The ship itself falls completely apart and is sliced apart. They start looking through the wreckage, looking for the hard drive. Augie, walking through it, finds a severed foot that belonged to a little girl. Augie feels responsible for the lives that were lost here, and she leaves the wreckage with tears streaming down her face. They find Evans and they find the hard drive, so the mission was successful. Wade brings the hard drive to a bunch of computer whizzes, so nerds. Clarence is there asking how long it's going to take to break into it. One of the guys says it's probably going to take about 3.8 trillion years. You have to remember that the aliens helped them create this hard drive, like the headsets, so their technology is way beyond ours. So of course hacking into it is going to be damn near impossible. Clarence is getting frustrated when the hard drive just decides to open, to the surprise of everyone. So the Santee opened it for them. There's a file on it that says 3 body Sophon that is 100 million gigs. So this must be what the Santee want them to see. We're now with Wade. He is visiting Wensia, telling her what happened on Judgment Day. Wensia looks upset. She still believes the Santee let them do this, but she doesn't understand why. She still believes in the Santee and thinks there is nothing Wade can say or do to shatter her faith in them. He pulls out a tape recorder and plays the last conversation Evans had with the Santee. How they cannot trust any human. Wensia listens to this in horror. She realizes that the Santee are now not coming to save the human race, but to destroy it. We're now with Wade and he goes to grab Jin. Since she understands higher dimensions as much as you can know about them, since our brains evolved in 3 dimensions, the Santee want to show them something, and Wade believes Jin's knowledge of the game and higher dimensions will help. They both put on the headsets and enter the game world. The 2 meet the Sword Lady. The Sword Lady then goes into a monologue about how the Santee are doomed, that human beings have existed for 100,000 years and are getting more advanced quicker. It took 10,000 years for the Industrial Age, 200 for the Power Age, 50 for the computer age. At the rate human technology is advancing, by the time the Santi get to Earth in 400 years, humans will be more advanced than them and will easily wipe them out when they try and conquer our world. Unless they figure out a way to stop our science, to stop our technology, which is what they have done. Which is the main reason why all the particle accelerators on Earth stopped working and keep giving nonsense results. The sword lady tells them they are using sophons to do this. A sophon is a proton one they turn into a sentient computer. Jin says this is impossible. The sword lady says for humans, yes, but not for us. The sword lady talks about how they have the technology to access higher dimensions, and then when you unfold a proton, it can become very large. We then see it cover the entire planet, so kind of like when the stars flickered. Saul said no satellites saw the flickering stars because the stars weren't actually flickering. It was the sophons. They have 4 in total and they come in pairs. So everything the sophons on Earth see and hear get relayed to the ones with the Santi, which is how they were able to communicate with Evans like they were just calling on a phone. They also mess with Earth's science, basically putting a lock on it. So we cannot advance from where we are currently. It is also what caused the countdown that Augie saw. The sword lady says they are everywhere and they hear everything, uncovering all their lies. Wade and Jin take the headsets off. All the screens in the world start flickering, saying you are bugs. This is the Santi's doing. So the Santi are saying humans are nothing more than pests, to be exterminated, and there is nothing we can do about it. We then see the sky change, showing they have encapsulated our world, so they're just flexing on us basically. There is a giant eye in the sky suggesting they see all. And that is the end of episode 5. What did you guys think of it? Leave it down in the comments below. And if you want more 3 body problem content, please subscribe and like the video. Check out the Twitter link in the description below. And as always, have an awesome day.